Game 2 will be incoming here. It looks like Bridgehead is the map choice, so we'll be going into that here as soon as we get it set up.
Yep, so winner has to make a decision now as to how he wants to play this next game. You know, like you said before, we've been seeing a lot of, Blink Stalkers out of Puck yesterday and today, and we'll have to see if we see that again and whether or not Winter thinks that, we've seen that a lot. Is he going to pull something else out? I have a feeling that he's going to kind of keep moving with what works. He said yesterday that he had been playing a lot of Legacy of the Void lately, and in Legacy of the Void has been doing a lot of Blink Stalkers, so that's why he's doing it again in HOTS. That's just what he's used to doing, so he's using those builds. And so as Winter, like, what do you think you do to prepare for that?
I was setting up the game.
Okay. So the question was...
Peanuts.
Peanuts.
And Big Mac. That's my favorite one.
If you're expecting Blink Stalkers out of Puck, as we've seen a lot from him, what do you do as Winter to try and prepare?
I was actually talking about this with Game Time earlier today because I think we were talking about him and Spider Slayer arrived early because they were the first match of the day. So knowing that we expected to see Blink Stalkers as a sort of core of Puck's army, and sort of saying if the eventuality happens where it's a Puck Game Time final, what do you do? Knowing that's coming, and he said honestly it's really hard because Blink Stalkers are really good, and it's difficult to do a lot because if we're talking about the fact that you could go Infestor, maybe get some fungals down, but if the Protoss sees you going towards Infestor and you're not really powering towards Roach Hydra, they'll just attack you sooner, and so there's a lot of weaknesses there. It's a very fine balance is what he's getting at, and he said the jury is out as of this point as what he would do in that case, but he said mostly just solid macro, solid play, and solid vision, keep an eye on what's going on. And
it looks like that's how Winter has tried to play the game up till now in that first game, but it didn't really work out for him that time. So got to kind of wonder, facing elimination, he'll go down and face Game Time if he is not able to win this match.
Yeah, honestly, I'm. The thing in that game, I think Winter did pretty well against the Blink. I don't think Blink was necessarily the problem for him. The problem was the Colossus, and he was just too invested in the Roach Hydra. And he went for Vipers there, which is kind of maybe the higher level thing to do. But I almost wonder if maybe Corruptors would have been a little bit better for him.
Well, we'll have to see how Winter plays in this second match.
Yeah, going into Bridgehead in the it's not really a corner; it's the right side-ish. The 4 o'clock position. It is going to be the purple Zerg. Down 1 game. It is Winter.
And on the left side of the map in the red Protoss demonstrating his skill in the first game, it is Puck.
So what I was talking, it's going down the road there of talking about Corruptors versus Vipers in that last game, and and going into a little bit of the Legacy of the Void soapbox, Corruptors are definitely a better choice there because they're a little bit more versatile. You can use the corrosive, whatever it's called, to do some damage to buildings and whatnot. Yeah. And it's always been the thing in Heart of the Swarm that once you get the Corruptors and you kill the Colossus, then you're left with a supply of army that's sort of not really going to do a lot for you other than maybe snipe a mothership core.
Yeah, and I can see why the Vipers are the choice there. I mean, it's just difficult because Puck kind of anticipated that choice, had the High Templar, was able to feedback. I mean, it's kind of the classic rock paper scissors game of who gets the first shot as well, and Puck came out on top that time.
Chat is pretty much unanimously saying he should have gone Ultralisk. That's never a bad choice. Unless Void Rays.
But, yeah, I don't think Puck was in any position to start making Void Rays at that point.
One can dream, right? I just want to see it.
All right.
PVZ Void Ray for the win.
So Puck scouting out Winter's base, is looking around, able to see that he's not got that pool, does have that early expand.
Yeah, I think Winter's going to play this pretty close to the chest, kind of very similar to last game. I fully expect him to get a third hatch here as he's sending out these drones now to try and... Yep, Puck got that figured out. It's actually going to be if he wants to do that now, it's going to be pretty rough because the other options are pretty hard to defend.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, Puck's looking up there to see if Winter's pulling the trigger on that north base.
Making sure that, well, and also Winter was keeping a drone there to make sure that Puck let that pylon finish, because if he didn't, he was going to go ahead and pop the base down. He actually had the money saved to do it as well.
But that did not go in his favor this time, so the drone is heading out and going to try and move in the middle expansion. But once again, Puck ahead of the drone. And in comes a Zealot to try and deny this as well. So
I don't think Winter's actually going to go for that. That would be a less than ideal choice at this point.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, if Puck were to see him do that, then he would just get some early gateways and some Zealots and pretty much kill it before Winter could really get a whole lot out.
It's clear that Winter really wants that third base, though, and Puck knows it. So in comes the Zealot again. We saw this the last game, and does get a single drone, does get a second drone. Is he going to get a third running
Looks like it. It looks like it.
Not quite, no.
He really wanted to, though.
Yeah, good micro there by Winter to try and save that last drone. The Zealot does go down, but loses 2 drones in the process.
I was looking like Winter was going to keep on going over towards the natural expansion of Puck with these lings, but he does turn around to take out this pylon and will be subsequently making a hatchery here, most likely. Now finding the probe hanging around the 4th base here.
And taking out that pylon actually did supply block Puck for a moment.
Puck now researching Warp Gate and producing some sentries here to be able to hold off these lings. Winter likewise sending a Overlord over the natural expansion here of Puck, seeing that there's about 5 drones going on. It is being chrono boosted. It's not permanently chrono boosted. This is not Legacy of the Void just yet. Although, if you are just joining us, the Legacy of the Void match teams have been determined. Spider Slayer was our 4th placed opponent, so we're going to have Spider Slayer and Puck versus Winter in game time. We've already dubbed the teams as Winter Time versus Spider Puck.
So Winter trying to chase down the Stalker. The probe was able to get away, and it looks like the Stalker is going to do the same. The Punisher Core is going to come down and take out 2 of those third rings.
Winter here really just trying to see if Puck has gone for a 3rd base, which he has not. Taking a 3rd hatchery of his own here. He's going to be going. I mean, he really hasn't done a whole lot. He's just got his spawning pool and just kind of macroing up here. He has not taken any additional gases yet. We'll be going for the layer here. Oh, hey, look at that. Woo! That's some high-level casting right there.
So the Stalker does move back to try and take out this Scouting Overlord. That does, the sentry takes its place as the Gatekeeper. And he's really not going to be able to seal out, as Puck has chosen to build the majority of his gateways near the back, actually, by the destructible rocks.
I like what Puck's got going on here. He's getting the Warp Prism a lot earlier this game than he did last game. I think he would have, Winter was kind of spread out there for a long time in taking all of his bases before he got a whole lot of army going. And if Puck can get in and get some Zealot warp-in action going before Winter can really establish his vision presence on the map, that will be advantageous for him. But there is a Overlord here on a crash course for this Warp Prism, but looks like he is going to get it flown by just before the vision.
Yep.
Oh no, but there's another one. Is it going to?
Oh, he's going to see it.
Yeah, there it is. Yep. So he does see it coming. He's even going to stop right in the vision of the Overlord to warp in the Zealots. So Winter definitely aware that is on its way, and he's going to he is going to be ready for that.
Yep. And Puck knowing clearly that Winter knows as well, so we'll see how Puck chooses to play that with this knowledge.
Yeah, he's not going to get a lot done here. There is a Spine Crawler and a lot of lings, so Puck doing a very smart thing and just kind of picking up there. But he is maintaining the threat so that Winter keeps his units here. Just kind of sacrificing his Zealot there.
Only takes a little bit of hull damage on that Warp Prism and getting right on out of there.
Yeah, Winter does have vision on Puck's 3rd base here. He's going to go ahead and open up the Warp Prism, warp in an additional Zealot to continue being able to put pressure. This does keep the army of Winter on its toes, keep it back in his base so he has to continue to defend. Hydralisk then is researching Hydra range right now, and Roach Warren researching Roach speed.
Warp Prism goes back in, tries to do a little bit more damage. Does get taken out by that Queen, though. And so that's going to be the end of that for now. Puck clearly not happy about that eventuality. I actually heard Puck chuckle at that last comment there. So another Overlord being taken out by Puck, which is going to supply block Winter for a moment.
Winter is going to be going for a 4th base here off to the left, it looks like, as soon as he gets these rocks down. Winter is also going to be making sure that he is aware if Puck decides to take a 4th down here far away from him, as he takes a 4th of his own on the north side.
So Winter really not mining very efficiently in his 3rd base. Only has 1 drone and gas and 20 on minerals at the moment, while his main is undersaturated. But he is taking that 4th base.
Yep, Puck deciding to put a little pressure on here. A Creep Queen is being caught off guard at the moment. Blink is not yet completed. It is about half done with +1 about at the same position. So Blink and +1 will finish up around the same time. First Colossus is on the way as well.
And Winter really just does not have much of a force here to be able to deal with this. I mean, he was starting to build into it, but not a lot is happening. And it's showing here. The force field's zoning out a lot of this army. Most of the Zerglings are taken out. And just continuing to move forward, doing a lot of damage here. More roaches getting zoned and picked off. And we saw this earlier from Puck, too. He just does a really good job of segmenting the army and taking it piece by piece apart.
I mean, he had 4 full energy sentries there, so that is going to be a lot of force fields. Warping in a few additional here, continuing to separate the army of Winter, just picking it apart. The losses just have not been all that much for Puck so far.
No, and he's got the Warp Prism behind this, so he can resupply at any moment.
Units killed are heavily in favor of Puck, 36 to 14.
Yeah. Moving in with some fresh Stalkers, trying to get more damage done, and in comes Winter's army, trying not to get put out of position too much, but Blink forward to do some damage. More force fields going down to prevent units from coming in from the north side. Drones moving in, and they're going to get taken apart quite quickly here.
Mothership Core does go down for Puck here, and Puck is starting to lose this fight here as more Roaches and Hydras coming on the scene for Winter. The Warp Prism does go down as well, so Winter being able to push this back. He did take a lot of losses, though.
Yeah. So, I mean, despite being forced back, I think that Puck is feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, Puck back at his base does have the Colossus coming out, so he is going to be reinforcing with the Colossus and more Stalkers. So the next engagement here from Winter is going to have to be pretty good as well. He's continuing to expand out, even though he did... so he's on 4 bases now. He's going to be going towards the 5th here soon. Puck does have to remake his Mothership Core, so he's going to be a little bit low on energy of that. I was actually thinking that maybe Puck would recall there, but he spent all of his energy on the Time Warps.
Winter continuing to kind of patrol around in his creep and decide where he wants to attack from, or at least defend from. He's not entirely sure where the army of Puck is at this point, trying to get some more vision with the Zergling moving around the map.
Upgrades here pretty much on the same page. +1/+1, or +1 attack done for both opponents here. +2 attack for Protoss is about to complete, as well as +2 ranged attack for Winter.
Zealot moving in to try and get an idea of where the army of Winter is, was able to find it to the Zealot's demise.
Winter has gotten his infestation pit, so we should see Hive coming down here relatively soon. He's got to know that there are going to be Colossus on the field, and he's going to either need to go into the Ultralisk that everyone wants to see, or get some Vipers.
Another Warp Prism loading up with Zealots.
This one may actually make it in undetected, depending on the path he takes here. It looks like he is taking a pretty good path. Puck beginning to move out through the center of the map once again to make sure he keeps Winter's army at bay. Now the Colossus coming into vision of that Overlord, takes it out. Winter knows what's going on. The Warp Prism, though, making it in fairly undetected here, so that is going to go well for Puck, as there's only one Roach just leaving the scene, warping in another round of Zealots. So this third base here for Winter is going to probably go down as Puck moving up into the center of the map.
Yeah, Winter's pretty preoccupied trying to deal with this main army and really not paying attention to the force that is taking out his third base, and that is definitely going to fall.
Winter did this last game. He's trying to get a really good surround around the army of Puck, but with Blink, Puck is able to take out about half of the army as they were not able to arrive on the scene at the same time. Colossus doing big damage here against these Hydralisks once again.
Yeah, and Puck's just been very meticulous about his placement of his Colossi. He's really taking very little damage on any of them and doing a lot of damage output.
Zealots just going ham over here in the third base as it's taken out as the drones continue to attempt to mine.
And now we see a response from Winter, some roaches coming down, and Hydra's trying to deal with that, clean that up, but the Warp Prism is still there and can warp in at any time some more units.
Puck has managed to kill 29 workers here of Winter as the army losses continue to mount. Warp Prism is still on the scene. Overlords are tracking it, but just can't quite keep up.
Yeah, and now Puck is moving in again. An additional Colossi added to the bunch, cleaning up some of that creep. And Winter's really playing from the back foot at this point.
Yeah, for sure. He's stuck at the same level of tech that he was before. Now has his hive completed, just beginning to go into some Vipers, but dropping a Zealot out of that Warp Prism does manage to get it away. Now the Colossus is going to come up on these Overlords with the limiting Winter supply levels. Might actually even almost, not quite, almost supply block him there, so he's going to have to produce some more Overlords.
So Vipers are adding onto the map. There is no Templar archive at this point, so we're not going to be able to get those feedbacks quite yet.
I have a feeling that it's not even going to be necessary because the Vipers are just now coming out, and Puck is trying to make a stand here, and he has quite an army. Winter just doesn't have much to go up against it, so he's not really going to have much of an ability here to build up the energy of those Vipers.
Winter researching ventral sacks. I don't even know if that's going to finish.
It's a highly aggressive blink there, we'll call it, and that's GG. So that is going to be a 2-0 win of Puck over Winter. Yep. Really great games, though. I mean, it was really nice to see some longer macro games there from our opponents, and we will get to line up with them here and have an interview. But what did you? So what could Winter have done there?
You know, he just was really having a hard time even from the beginning of the game when he was having a hard time getting that third down and, you know, just being pulled in a lot of different directions again. Puck doing a really good job of drawing Winter's attention into the center of the map and then moving in with the War Prisms, trying that a couple of times. And once Winter lost that third base, he was in some pretty big trouble. So, you know, it's hard to say. Puck's really on top of things.
Yep.
But
that does determine our next match, which will be the loser finals or semifinals, depending on how you look at it. It is going to be Winter versus Game Time. So another ZVZ going to be coming your way in a few minutes. But before we do that, we want to give one more shout out to Mythologic for sponsoring our tournament today, giving up some cash to help us pay out these players for their time and their job well done. Players being very passionate this weekend, but also very you know, it's really cool aura ambiance around here. Everyone's being really nice, and it's awesome to hang out with everybody. So big thanks to Mythologic. Check them out at mythologic.com or search for them on Twitter or Facebook. They make some really awesome PCs if you're ever in the market for a new PC but don't really want to build one yourself. It's a pretty good deal.
Yep.
And we're going to take a quick break here while we corral our players and head into the next match. So we'll be right back.
Stick around.